Did you say yes to Be on the Edge also, not really just because you were depressed, but more so like, now I film this and there's this narrative and all these people are saying one thing about me and like, let's show them a different side
And
of
that's not me
Ebony?
at all. A little bit. Yeah, that's very perceptive of you. I think subconsciously that was a part of the calculus, right? It's like a pet peeve of mine is in not just Housewives, but Housewives, any reality show, that whole I got a bad edit. Like I personally think that's always bullshit. In the sense that if you said it, if you did it, and it's in the edit, it's a fair edit. Now you could say, and I can agree. Was it a comprehensive edit? Was it a broad edit? Was it a narrow? Sure, we could play those semantics. But the point is I felt my edit and really our whole season was just very narrow. It was clear that executive decisions at very high levels made the decision to tell a pretty narrow story around race and conflict. On top of that, it wasn't a whole lot else going on in New York City because it's COVID, peak shutdown city in the globe, just a hot mess. So my response to that, David, is not like bitching about a poor edit. Just make new content. You don't like what the scope of what was shown about your dynamic personality, Ebony. Bitch, go to work, like Kim Kardashian said, and give the people more content to see more of you. That was the thinking.
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that, well, by the time this show is over, do you think people will feel they have a new, I mean, Housewives is a strong.
I think an additional. So, and by the way, I stand by every single thing I said and did on RHONY season 13. Very proud of that aspect of me. It's just a narrow aspect. That's all. That's just one part of me. So my goals with Beyond the Edge, and I feel very strongly that those that are open to listen, some people are gonna, go to their graves with, carrying that chip on their shoulder about whatever their takeaway of 13 was of RHONY, and that's fine. God bless you. But for others that go to Beyond the Edge with a sense of curiosity about, like, maybe what else is this girl about? I think they're gonna get that. Yeah, I mean, you saw it in episode 1. Vulnerability. Oh, little Miss A+ lawyer students doesn't actually know everything, huh? Funny there, and my reckoning with that. Mm-hmm.
Well, you cried all of a sudden in episode 1. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I forgot that I cried in episode 1, and my grown ass Dave on the couch last night watching pizza and drinking champagne with 2 of my New York girlfriends, cried again. Like I knew what was coming, and I still was taken aback with the Ray Lewis back and forth of like my inability historically to trust men, frankly. And now if we can all kind of psychoanalyze where that might come from. And it just took me over to see, that kind of aha moment on my screen in real time. Like, this is what happens when I entertain the opportunity to just say yes to the hand being reached out to me versus my knee jerk for 38 years, which is no, I'm good. What it would life be like if I accepted the offering of help and I leaned into trust? And that was a lot to see. Yeah.
When you got there and you realized, like, this really is the Panama jungle, like, this isn't, like, this isn't a joke.
This isn't, what's the movie with,
You were in the mud, Ebony. You had some problems with the mud.
Well, I had the problem was not even the mud, per se. It was the fact that there was no bottom in the mud, So it's like, if it was just like a mud pool, no problem with I could stand up and touch the bottom, then it's just mud, and I'm okay. I don't mind getting a little dirty now, David. It was the fact that we were all drowning in the mud. Like, it was like quicksand.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so imagine that
sensation.
I got that. Yeah, I don't know that people got that. We weren't just like walking through mud, like, whatever. No, it was holy shit.
Like, your feet are dangling.
Your feet are dangling, and you are continuing to, kind of be sucked into this pit. So it was really scary. Yeah.
Yes.
I had no other choice really but to trust Ray Lewis at that point. And I'm glad I did.
Did you learn anything from doing this show, like, about yourself?
Oh, a lot. I learned that that you can't will yourself out of depression is one thing I learned. Like, I had a lot of talks with Colton Underwood where, Colton has had, very public bout with his own depression and all the shit that he's gone through. And, he's reconciling that still. But he's like, just if you move your body 30 minutes a day, no matter how you feel, that's you, kind of doing some of the work to, help yourself get to a better place. And so to this day, shout out to Colton, I still do that no matter how good or bad I feel. Again, I learned I can have value, David, on a team or in an ensemble for the sake of television or on for business, just on a broader team without having to know every single thing on the table. Like, it's okay to be a team player. It's okay to not be the one in charge with all the answers. And that's who I've been for so long in like every aspect of my career, like knowing the person who knows the most in the room. And in the jaws of the Panamanian jungle, I knew the least. And I almost went home. I guess I could tell you this. I almost went home before we started.
Really?
Yeah. And not in a like, this is whack, I'm going home. After we had to do kind of baseline testing, for everything from swimming in the ocean, mountain biking, just to kind of make sure that we were all up to the task that they knew were in front of us.
After you arrived in
Panama. And your girl was struggling like shit to the point where, and it was very obvious. It wasn't like a close call, like, oh, we've got, the Rays and the Coltons and we've got a few in the middle. No, it was like 8 people and then Eboni. And my integrity, really, I want to say, David, was like, okay, if these people are ready for this competition, Eboni, and you just aren't, you maybe need to go home and not hold these people back from winning, hundreds of thousands of dollars for their charity. Because basically what I was afraid of is that every single team I would get on would lose because of me. And how shitty is that? So I we had a tough talk right before day one.
You and the producers.
Mm-hmm.
And they convinced you to stay.
I was like, come on now. Yeah.
Aren't you happy you stayed, though?
I owe them everything. We without giving anything away, there's a point in this season where, it's a lot of emotion on camera. But when I tell you, David, the tears and the people from production, and I'm talking about all the way up to the EP and showrunner, and it just was really special. Like, I felt so supported and so much grace and so much faith in me in a way that I hadn't earned. That's the difference. Like, I get shit done. We know this. We're both lawyers. We're both, like very type A. But when you are not performing and people still believe in you, that hits different.
Yeah. And doesn't it kind of make you say, wow, like I'm so hard on myself.
Yeah.
In my real life.
Like, people can love me without having to earn it. Which
Yeah.
I kind of grew up in a achievement modeled household.
Yeah.
Where you
same.
earn the love through the A's, through the
Yes.
pageant crowns, through the blue ribbons at the science fair. You earn it. And so getting love like Coach Singletary night one and without earning it was really bizarre to me.
Right. Or like, today I suck, but wait, I'm bringing my B+, A- game, but that's still a day.